Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're exploring a feeling that, well, it quietly impacts countless successful individuals. That really unsettling sense you're somehow a fraud, just waiting to be exposed. I think most of us have heard the term imposter syndrome, right? That gnawing doubt that
Hmm.
maybe your accomplishments are just a fluke, or you somehow tricked everyone into thinking you're competent. Let's unpack the surprising truths about this whole phenomenon.
It's truly fascinating, isn't it? This kind of paradox where you feel completely alone in your doubt,
Mhm.
yet the research, it just clearly shows it's a profoundly universal experience, particularly among high achievers.
Right.
So our mission today really is to demystify this internal struggle,
Mhm.
understand its subtle mechanisms, and crucially arm you with effective, practical ways to sort of take the sting out of it,
Okay.
allowing you to genuinely own your capabilities.
So if we're talking about that gut feeling, that sense of not quite belonging,
Yeah.
what exactly is happening, like psychologically? Our dive into the material, it reveals that imposter syndrome isn't like an actual clinical diagnosis,
No, that's key.
but it's more a persistent pattern, a pattern of internalizing your failures and externalizing your successes.
Yeah, exactly. You chalk up achievements to luck or timing or maybe people just liking you.
Right. I got lucky.
While any little misstep, any mistake feels like undeniable proof of that fundamental inadequacy you secretly fear.
It's like your brain is constantly scanning, looking for evidence to confirm that deep-seated fear.
Huh?
I'm not actually good enough.
And what's really crucial to understand here is that this isn't just about low self-esteem. It's often called the imposter mirage for a good reason.
Mirage. Interesting. Why?
Well, because we're constantly comparing our own messy internal world,
Yeah.
all our doubts, the learning curves, the behind the scenes struggles.
Mm.
We compare that to everyone else's carefully curated external highlight reel.
Oh, okay. I see.
You see a colleague, maybe they just ace a presentation, right? And your brain immediately goes, wow, flawless.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it reminds you of every awkward pause, every forgotten point from your last big moment. It creates this really unfair and often unconscious cognitive bias.
So you're basically judging your whole messy first draft against someone else's polished book cover.
Perfectly put, yeah. Judging your whole novel against their perfectly edited blurb.
And what's really fascinating here, and often quite surprising, is just how widespread this feeling of not good enough actually is.
Yeah.
Especially, like you said, among high achievers.
Right. You'd think more success equals more confidence.
Exactly. But often it seems the opposite happens. With each new level, a promotion, a really challenging project, maybe a big award,
Hmm.
the stakes just feel higher.
Mm-hmm.
And the goalposts for what counts as competent or qualified, they seem to shift even further away.
That's so true. And this even leads to distinct patterns. Some sources talk about the expert type always feeling they need one more certification, one more course. Oh, I know people like that. Or the perfectionist who just struggles to ever feel truly satisfied with their work, no matter how good it is.
Right. Never quite hitting the mark.
Yeah. And recognizing your specific flavor, your pattern of imposter syndrome, can really help pinpoint the most effective ways to counter it.
That makes sense.
Exactly, because the very drive, the ambition that pushes high achievers forward,
Yeah.
it can paradoxically feed the cycle. You succeed, you feel good for maybe a moment.
Fleetingly.
Yes. Then your internal critic immediately sets a new, higher benchmark. And the whole cycle of doubt just starts right over again.
Oh, exhausting.
It is. So the question really becomes, how do we break this cycle? How do we redefine what it means to even experience these uncomfortable feelings?
Okay.
The core idea, and this is something our sources really emphasize, is to reframe uncertainty itself.
Reframe uncertainty. How?
Instead of seeing those moments of doubt, those feelings of, I don't know what I'm doing, as a personal failing or a sign that you are an imposter, we can learn to view them as a normal, even necessary part of growth.
That shift from thinking I'm a fraud to, okay, this feeling means I'm growing,
Yeah.
that feels genuinely transformative.
It is, because when you're in a new situation or tackling a novel challenge, pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, it's completely natural to feel a bit out of place, a bit uncertain.
Of course.
This feeling of not having all the answers, it isn't some kind of flaw, it's actually a signal.
A signal.
Yeah, a signal that your brain is acknowledging new territory, it's expanding its capabilities, it's learning. You're not a finished project. You're a human being constantly evolving.
I like that. Not a finished project.
So when that pang of doubt hits, instead of immediately thinking, oh no, I'm caught out, you can learn to pause and consciously tell yourself, okay, this uncertainty isn't proof I'm bad at this. It's a sign I'm pushing my boundaries. I'm actually growing right now.
Okay, so let's connect this to the bigger picture. If we truly start to embrace uncertainty as a sign of growth, what's the practical shift? How does that change our immediate reaction when we face the next big challenge?
Well, when you really internalize this idea, those moments of doubt, they no longer trigger that kind of fight or flight response where you either, overcompensate frantically or just retreat entirely.
Right, you freeze up or you run away.
Exactly. Instead, they actually become opportunities. Uncertainty stops being a big red stop sign.
It becomes
More like a compass, pointing towards new development, new skills you need to acquire, maybe new strengths you can cultivate.
so it fosters that growth mindset we hear about.
Precisely. Every challenge becomes less of a test you might fail and more of a chance to expand. It shifts your energy away from that harsh self-criticism.
Which is draining.
So draining. And directs it towards curious exploration instead, which is, let's face it, a much more productive and frankly healthier place to operate from.
Okay, so let's translate this into some actionable steps, things you can actually do day to day. Our sources lay out several really tangible strategies,
Good.
beyond just telling yourself don't compare. The first one is about consciously rewiring that internal dialogue, right? Because we do compare constantly, often without even realizing it.
Subconsciously.
Measuring our own messy internal experience against what we perceive as someone else's perfect, effortless journey.
And that habit is just so insidious. It creates this constant nagging sense of inadequacy. It's like pouring gasoline on the fire of self-doubt.
It's incredibly potent fuel, isn't it? Because I guess we're wired to seek social validation, social comparison.
We are, but the core insight here, the thing to really grasp, is that you're seeing someone else's polished outcome.
Right, the finished product.
And you're internalizing that as proof of their inherent belonging, while you only see your own messy, often stressful internal process.
Okay, so how do we counter that actively?
Right. You need to deliberately, consciously shift your focus. Instead of looking at that shiny highlight reel and feeling like you fall short.
Which is so easy to do online, especially.
Well, absolutely. You have to consciously direct your attention back to your own journey, your own starting point, your own progress, however small it feels sometimes. Your path is unique. And when you truly recognize that, you start to appreciate your individual strides rather than constantly feeling like you're behind everyone else.
Absolutely. And a really practical, incredibly powerful way to do this, which our sources mention, is to keep a success journal.
Ah, yes, I love this one.
And it's not just for like huge career milestones, right?
No, not at all.
It's about recognizing the micro victories, those little moments. You handled a difficult conversation well, write it down. You finally mastered that tricky new software function, write it down.
Or even just getting through a really demanding week, that's an accomplishment.
Totally. Our sources really highlight that these small, consistent affirmations are actually more powerful in rewiring that self-doubt than, say, one big, infrequent achievement. Each entry is like a little piece of concrete evidence against that nagging inner critic.
I really do love that strategy because it provides your brain with a different story, a narrative based on actual facts, not just feelings.
Right. Feelings versus fact.
Exactly. The imposter syndrome voice, it's almost entirely driven by feelings, inadequacy, anxiety, fear of being exposed. Those feelings are powerful, no doubt, but they aren't always tethered to reality.
Okay.
Your success journal offers tangible, undeniable evidence, proof of your competence, your effort, your growth. So when that voice whispers, you can't possibly do this, you can literally open your journal and see all the times you did do something similar, or you did learn, or you did push through adversity.
It's like building a case file.
It is. You're actively reprogramming your internal narrative,
Yeah.
building this fortress of documented achievement against the doubt.
Another powerful tool, and one I think is often overlooked, is learning to simply accept praise.
Oh, that's a big one.
How many times do you deflect a compliment? Someone says, great job, and you immediately say,
Oh, it was nothing, or anyone could have done it, or I had a lot of help.
exactly. And that behavior just reinforces the imposter narrative. It tells your brain, see, even when someone says something nice, it's not really true.
So the suggestion.
Our sources suggest a really small but mighty shift. When someone compliments your work, your skill, your contribution, just say thank you.
Just thank you.
Just thank you. Don't elaborate. Don't diminish it. Don't explain it away. Just accept the affirmation. It's this quiet but firm declaration that, yes, you are worthy of that recognition.
That simple thank you, it's like an affirmation of your own worth in that moment. A small but really significant refusal to let that imposter feeling steal your accomplishment.
Yeah,
It's also about maybe training your brain to actually register external validation rather than immediately batting it away. It's a tiny act of self-compassion, really.
definitely. And finally, and I think this is where the real liberation can happen, our sources really underscore the crucial practice of vulnerability.
Ah, vulnerability.
Yes. As researchers like Brené Brown have shown so extensively, shame absolutely thrives in secrecy.
In the dark.
Right.
Yep.
So when you're feeling like a fraud, that powerful instinct to hide it, to
Yeah.
isolate yourself, to put on a brave face and pretend everything is fine, that is precisely what gives imposter syndrome its power.
That's the exact moment the mirage dissolves. The moment you actually open up, you talk to someone you trust.
Yeah.
And you realize you're not alone. That so many people, often people you admire and think have it all figured out.
Right.
They respond with an authentic, oh my gosh, me too, or I feel that way all the time. In that moment, the feeling just loses so much of its grip.
It stops being this huge, scary secret.
Exactly. It's no longer this big, shameful secret you have to protect, something that makes you uniquely flawed or broken. It just becomes, well, a normal, albeit uncomfortable, part of the human experience, especially when you're stretching yourself.
Sharing it brings it out into the light.
It does. And when you share it, you often find empathy, you find understanding, you find shared experience, and that is incredibly validating. It removes the isolation that fuels the syndrome. It can quite literally rewire your brain's threat response, replacing that fear with a sense of connection, of belonging.
So thinking broadly then,
Yeah.
it makes you wonder, what secrets are you, the listener, holding on to right now? Maybe in your professional life, maybe personally.
Yeah. Secrets that might just lose their power if you chose to share them with someone you really trust. Sometimes just the act of speaking it aloud can be incredibly liberating in itself.
Okay, so let's recap this deep dive. The key takeaway seems to be recognizing that this feeling, imposter syndrome, it isn't some unique personal failing or a sign you're unworthy.
Not at all.
It's actually a normal, incredibly common part of growth, especially it seems for people who are pushing their boundaries and achieving things.
Definitely.
And you can counter it. You can actively adopt a mindset shift, reframing that uncertainty as a positive sign of progress.
Right. Growth, not fraud.
You could fight that comparison trap by focusing intently on your own unique journey. Maybe documenting your accomplishments, big and small, in that success journal.
Build that evidence.
Learn to simply accept praise when it comes your way. Just a simple thank you.
Yeah. Own it.
And crucially, you can diminish its power by bravely sharing those feelings with a trusted person. Break that cycle of shame and secrecy.
It really is about seeing the truth, isn't it? The truth that you are more than your feelings of doubt, that you are absolutely worthy of your success.
Your achievements are real?
They are real. You earned them. And each time you write in that success journal, you're literally building a new neurological pathway for self-belief. Each thank you you offer in response to a compliment is an assertion of your legitimate place, your contribution.
So these aren't just like feel-good exercises.
Not at all. There are deliberate acts of self-reprogramming, training your brain to see the reality of your competence.
So thinking about our listeners,
Mm-hmm.
what's one action you're going to take this week? One small thing to combat your own imposter syndrome.
Maybe it's starting that success journal, just one entry a day.
Or consciously pulling back when you catch yourself comparing.
Or practicing that simple thank you when someone gives you positive feedback.
Or maybe the bravest step, sharing that vulnerable feeling with someone you trust. Choose one small step. Just begin shifting that internal narrative. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We really hope this exploration of imposter syndrome has given you some valuable insights and, more importantly, some practical tools to move forward with maybe a bit more confidence and self-acceptance.
Remember, the absolute core of this conversation is about recognizing your inherent worth and the legitimacy of your achievements. You do belong right where you are. Your contributions are valuable. They are real. It's not just luck.
So as you go about your week, maybe consider this. The next time that inner critic pipes up, whispering, "You're not good enough," or "You're going to be found out," what concrete, undeniable piece of evidence can you present back to it from your success journal, from your experience, and how will you actively choose to believe